When it comes to companies that make graphics cards, almost every brand has its own software that comes bundled with some type of game recording utility that is specifically designed for that brand, aiming for minimal impact on your system. And this software is usable only if you own their product. AMD is no different. Their utility is known as AMD Relive, but it seems there have been some changes. This particular recording utility was available for a long time. If I open up this page when Googling, we can actually see how that looked like. You have an option, Relive, which I actually have right here. So here's their settings, Relive or Relive, and then you can turn on this, and here you have a bunch of settings that you can use. You also have options for game streaming, live streaming, recording, and then scene. Presumably, if you are live streaming, to able to set up your scenery. Now, some time ago, around 2020, AMD seemed to have launched another application, or maybe it's just this one, but redesigned. The one that we can see on our screen right now from this website comes bundled into Radeon Adrenalin edition. To my knowledge, this is an update for your graphics card. You simply open up homepage, you press updates, and here you can see that the new recommended update is 20.11.2. The graphics card I own is AMD Radeon R9 280X. If I scroll down, I can actually see that this Adrenalin edition is actually available. So I will be doing a two-part mini-series on AMD. In this video, I'll be reviewing AMD Relive, and then in the next video, I'll be focusing on this particular utility. I can see that I can take screenshots, record video, instant replay, and instant GIFs. So we'll be taking a look at that in the second video. And this is going to be very useful since we will be able to compare the current recorder that I have and then this updated one to see if it's actually in fact any different. Is it a new redesigned software, or is it just updated UI? Welcome everybody to 6th episode of Free Game Recording Softwares. Today, let's take a look at AMD Relive, or Relive. I'm gonna say it's Relive. I'm gonna get you started with a must-have features photo. These are all of the features that I think every free game recording program should have to keep up with the standards. It goes without saying that it shouldn't have anything to annoy you, and that's something that I always try to expose in my videos. Let's get started with the website. Typing in AMD Relive, I cannot find anything from the website. It came bundled with this Crimson software, but since we are now in Adrenalin, it's updated. So the only website that I can present to you is this: how to install and enable Radeon Relive. So let's use this as a starting point, but let's not criticize the design since this is only guide/explanation website. So we have Radeon Relive, or just Relive. Allows users to capture, stream, and share gameplay videos and screenshots. Capturing gameplay using this program is easy to configure and has minimal impact on performance. So that's what I've been telling you at the beginning. Almost every one of these programs has minimal impact when it comes bundled with the software and the graphics card you have. So it says that this program was first introduced in Crimson Relive Edition 16.12, and now we are at 20.12 something. So here it says what it supports, what graphics cards. Now scrolling down gives us installing and enabling programs. So it says it's packaged as an optional component with Radeon software Crimson Relive Edition. To download, you can follow the website. It says once you have downloaded this, run the installer, and then you can follow the information here if you need something. Anyhow, when installing the Radeon software, use custom install. Near the end of the installation, the following screen will appear. Select install Radeon Relive. So down here you have the button install Radeon Relive. After system restart, open AMD settings and select Relive tab. Here we have, I guess, some of the functions missing or images, and then it tells us how to turn it on and a couple of more installation settings which I'm not going to be focusing on. Let's keep moving on. Once enabled, it provides you many options. So let us take a look at all of these options. Obviously, there is no free or paid version or anything like that. It's just free. It's just free version available to everybody. So let us focus on this program. So like I've said, you open up your AMD Radeon settings. You usually do that by right-clicking, and then on the top you're going to have that button. But for me, it's not available, so all I have to do is open up Start and search for this. Typing in AMD settings reveals this button, so I can click on it and it opens up this. So just like the website said, we click on Relive and we enable it. We can see we have global game streaming, which I'm not interested in streaming. Long story short, it seems that you can stream this to other devices, maybe play from other devices. Live streaming, I think, is self-explanatory. It lets you stream to all of these websites or services, which I'm not interested in. We have recording, and one more thing, we have scene, so we'll be taking a look at all of these. So global, recording, and scene. Let's see what's going on. We have global. It says record desktop, so we have an option to record our desktop, but I'm not interested in that. I want to record games, so I'm going to turn that off. Next we have save folders, very self-explanatory. We can choose where we want to save our videos. Next we have borderless region capture, so if there's a certain border around the window, it's going to crop it, and you can easily capture like that. I'm going to leave it disabled. Next we have toggle streaming hotkey, which I'm not interested in. Region streaming hotkey, again, not interested in. Toggle toolbar hotkey. Once you are in the game, you can actually press a certain hotkey and it's going to toggle the toolbar inside the game, and I'll showcase that as well. Next we have toggle recording hotkey, so if we want to start recording, it's Ctrl-Shift-R. There's also save instant replay hotkey. Not precisely explained what exactly instant replay is considered to be here, but usually when programs have this option, if you save instant replay, you can then instantly preview it inside the game, so you can take a look at your mistakes. Just like, for example, if you're watching a sports game, they give you an instant replay of what just happened without exiting the game or exiting anything. Now, there's another possibility. This could be considered to be just sort of a highlight clip, so once you press this hotkey, it's going to record from that point and then 10 seconds back and save that as a file. For this to work, you had to be recording for quite some time, so you can utilize this feature. We'll be taking a look at what exactly is this. We have the hotkey here, so I'll be pressing it. Next we have screenshots. I'm not interested in that. Another hotkey for microphone. I think it's self-explanatory, turn it on or off. Next, you can also have your camera. I'm assuming they mean webcam. Next, we have toggle region recording hotkey. If you press this, you should be able to select a particular region and record it. So for this to work for this particular test, I'm actually going to turn on this desktop and we'll be testing this as well. I'll be saving it at Ctrl-Shift-B, and let's keep moving on. We have save instant GIF hotkey. Instantly, it makes me think of the other program that they have bundled with Adrenalin. It also has this feature, so we'll be paying a special attention in that next video to see if they are actually any different. Next, we have video capture device. So this is where you set your webcam, it seems, and here I have mine. Now here we have audio capture device, so this is my microphone and I'll set it up. Next, we can choose to record the microphone and change the volume of the recording microphone. Next we have push to talk, I think self-explanatory, and audio volume boost, so you can boost the volume if your microphone is naturally really low, it needs more power. But do know that if you turn this on, the noise in the background will become louder as well, which might disturb the viewer. Let's keep moving on to recording and see what we have here. There's a recording profile. I can set it at low, medium, high, or custom. Your recording settings may be adjusted for your hardware depending on actual resolution. So I'll choose custom and set my own settings. We have recording resolution. I'll choose it to be in-game, but it seems you can go up until 4K. Since my games usually run at 1080p, it should record 1080p. Max recording bitrate is set at 50 megabytes per second. We can go up, or megabytes or bits, I'm not really sure, but I never understood these, but we can go up until 100. I'll keep it at 50, since I think that's just enough for 1080p to be highest possible quality. Recording FPS can be set to 30 or 60. Encoding type, we can set it to AVC. Quick search online reveals advanced video coding, AVC, also referred to as H.264 or MPEG-4. Usually these are best two encoders available, or I'm not sure if they are the same, but I think we are getting the best possible options. When it comes to audio bitrate, we can go up until the highest possible quality. I'll choose mid-range high quality. From 192 and above, your ear can't really tell the difference. Still, to be safe, I'll keep it here. Next option we have is separate microphone track, which means that it's going to create separate output file for microphone audio. If I hover over it, as you can see, we have a little hint to what exactly it does, and this is good. Both of these are very good, so we'll be looking out for that extra output file. Next, there is audio channels. Automatic or stereo. I'll just leave it at automatic. I'm sure it's gonna be stereo either way. Next, we can turn on instant replay. Let's find out what is this about. It says instant replay 1 minute, and also up here I think you can see that it shows me instant replay is on, and I can actually choose how long I want instant replay to be. I'll choose for it to be 15 seconds, and it says that the estimated size is about 93 megabytes. And next we have instant replay buffer disk storage. So once again, I'm not sure what that is. And we have instant GIF, which I'm not going to try out. So let's keep moving on to scene and find out what that is. We have advanced mode, and I can enable it, and we can have custom scenes. Usually this is available in streaming programs, so you can set up your scenery for your viewers. But let's see if this has to do anything with recording games. So there's a scene 1. I'm going to click on it, and this is what I'm talking about. I can set the scene right now. There's an indicator up here. I can have a camera. I can have chat overlay. If I, for example, add a chat, I think you need to also link it. And we can press plus to add some more stuff. But I'm not going to be doing that. Now for this video, I'm not going to be using the camera also, but it seems that you can resize it. Right clicking does nothing, and you can also choose the opacity. So there's no indication what opacity is, but you can choose that. You can also choose to show it on screen or just in video only, and I'll just turn it off because I'm not interested in that. Here we have an indicator or the HUD, I think, and then chat overlay. I'm going to turn off both of those, just keep the indicator, and let's see if that matters at all. Pressing more actually reveals some information here. So we have some other information. In case I skipped something, feel free to click more and find out more about the information here. So one thing about instant replay, it says, while enabled, instant replay will be continuously recording your experience. However, these recordings will not be saved unless the instant replay toolbar button or hotkey is activated. Choose to store the temporary data on your disk or in system memory. So it seems that possibly right now I am recording the instant replay. We'll be checking that out also when I get into the game. But we are not done yet with the showcase. This has been desktop version of the showcase. Let's open up the game and let me show you how the HUD or the toolbar looks like. So I had to switch to my camera to show you guys everything that's happening on the screen. So we can see that once I press Alt-Z inside the game, here is the overlay, but it seems to be flashing because there is movement in the background from the lamp. So I'll have to move somewhere where there's no movement so we can try again. So I'm going to move to this wall and I'm going to press Alt-Z. But do notice one thing, how there's a mouse in the middle. I'm going to talk about that as well. Pressing Alt-Z once again, and it's not flashing anymore. We can see options like record, stream, screenshot, scene, and settings. I'm going to press record, and you're going to notice that the recording has started. I'm going to press Alt-Z once again, and we see the countdown, and also I can press the stop button and get a notification in the upper right corner that says recording saved. Going back, we have stream, screenshot, scenes, and if I click on it, you'll notice that we have scene 1 that I set up earlier. I can press back to go back, and I can click on settings. Inside settings, I can change microphone, turn it on or off, change the volume, and I'm going to turn on instant replay in this particular situation because I do want to test that out. We get a notification that says instant replay turned on. And going back, we have a couple of more options that I'm not interested in, so I'm going to skip those. I can go back and I can click on the cogwheel and I can actually disable Radeon overlay inside the game as well. But I'm not going to do that. Let's go back and I can also open up the overlay once again and press save instant replay. But before I do that, let me just really quickly fire, and that should be the last thing that happens in the video, me shooting the gun. So I save the replay and I get a notification. We are going to preview it to find out if in fact it records from the point that I pressed for it to record and then back 10 seconds or 15, however many I set it. One thing that I want to show you is during the recording, I'm noticing how there is noticeable slowdown of the game. Game is literally moving slower if I'm recording and playing at the same time. Sometimes it happens at just random moments when there's more stuff on the screen. Sometimes it happens when there's not a lot of stuff on the screen. Also, I have noticed while the overlay is present, like for example notifications in the upper right corner, the game also seems to have some type of slowdown. But as soon as all of that is gone and I turn off the recording, you'll notice that the game all of a sudden runs smooth. There's no slowdown or any sort of lag. So here I am in the recordings folder and we can see that these instant replays have been labeled with replay and then the date of the recording. I also have a sample recording that I recorded. This is just a regular recording and you'll see that it doesn't say replay before the date and the time. So we can double click on this file and preview it. Scrolling to the end of the video file, we can see in fact that there is a gunshot that I fired before pressing the button, so that's what shows in the instant replay. That's what they call it, but it should not be really called an instant replay. This is in fact just a highlight clip. So basically what happens is, once I press the button to capture a highlight, it's gonna take the recording from that point and then back a couple of seconds depending on what amount I've set it to. So in this particular situation, I've set it to record 30 seconds back. So that's what it did. But for this to work, recording has to be running in the background, hence we have the folder that says replay cache. If we open it, we have a couple of folders which actually contain recordings while instant replay is on. So once again, this is not a replay feature, this is simply capturing a clip or a highlight. This is useful if you do something interesting, you want to save it, you press the combination, what just happened a couple of seconds ago will be saved. There's one more thing to note. Next to this video file, we have an audio file with the same name, just the different extension, hence it's an audio file. And that is basically the microphone exported in a separate audio track / separate audio file. When it comes to first impressions, very solid program. It comes built in. However, one thing that you should note, you probably noticed that the game was lagging during the recording. And one more thing to note, if you didn't figure it out throughout this video, if you have an AMD graphics card, you can use this software. If you don't have it, look for your dedicated graphics card's software. So for example, Nvidia has a shadow play program. Anyhow, back to first impressions. Just a solid program that comes built in, has basic features. Very interesting the way it's set up inside the game. You have the overlay, so you don't have to exit the game. That is very unique. For the most part, with most other programs, you have to exit game first or just Alt-Tab from it at very least before you set up the program. With this one, you can do everything inside the game. Everything is there. You have a bunch of options. Very positive first impressions. It's very minimalistic, I want to say, with its design, straight to the point. One thing, however, that is sticking out is I was hoping there would be a clearer separator in between these. So for example, for instant GIFs, I was hoping for, I don't know, maybe like a little bigger separator, like a little section, but there is a separator, but it's very small. Generally looking at it, everything looks bundled together. Still, I'm happy something is there. Overall, first impressions, very positive, not hard to use program. Luxury features. Does it have any, and what are they? Well, certainly a luxury feature that I didn't foresee is the toolbar inside while you're playing the game. You can open it, pressing a simple hotkey, and you have a bunch of options there. Saving instant replay, at the moment I think I've showed you how exactly it looks like. There is no actual instant replay, so this is more like a capture a highlight or capture a clip, going from the point you press the hotkey and then 15 seconds back. However, for what it seems to be doing, that's actually a luxury feature in my opinion as well. Really quickly taking a highlight from what just happened is very useful. In the export test, I am presenting you with two video recordings. The first one has lower settings, which are this. The second one has the settings that I've showed you earlier during the showcasing of the program, which were about 50 megabits per second with 60 frames per second recording rate and audio bitrate to 56. So that's the second one. So let's focus on the second one, which has higher settings. First thing I can see is that in fact I do have a video file with the audio track as well, and then there is a second audio track, which is the recording of my microphone, which was exported in a separate audio track. Here they are in the project right here. We can see that this one is the video. So it's recorded at 48 frames per second, so not 60. And it lasts for 31 seconds, 0.01. From this same video, here is the audio track or the microphone, which we can see that lasts 32 seconds. And we can see that for fact is truth if we take a look at the timeline down here. So we can see that the audio file is in fact longer in length. So for some reason it records your microphone a little longer, but let's preview it. So here I am recording with this program, graphics cards with minimal performance. In fact, it's not lagging. There we go. What makes me laugh is that this recording program somehow managed to change the hairstyle of the character in the game. Also, obviously, you can see that there is a bunch of lagging going on. The game slows down. But let's see what happens if I lower the settings. Here I am recording with a lowered settings just to see, and the lag is still there. It's this. So we can see that no matter what kind of settings I include or change, the same thing happens. The microphone track is still longer in length and we can still see the same type of lagging and glitching on the screen. Here I have a post from AMD's community forums, and if you read through these, you'll pretty much notice that almost everybody has this issue. This guy says, I just did some testing and this issue occurs regardless of what I do. I am using the latest drivers and I've tried reducing my refresh rate to 60, set my resolution, stuff. So some people seem to have found some fixes, some not. This guy says, I've tried several games in several modes. All of them exhibit same issue to some degree. Finally, somebody says, with the latest version of Radeon software, my issue seems to be resolved. It would appear that this was fixed. At this point of the video, I think this is a pretty major issue and pretty much the review should be stopped. However, if there is somebody out there who still uses this program, for some reason can't update or can't change it, but the program works for you, then great, keep using it. But as far as my video review goes, I'm still going to finish the review for this particular program, but I'll do so in a minimal fashion. Having said that, when it comes to export test, the colors, the representation of the image, and the quality of the recording is really good. No matter, both of these look phenomenal when it comes to image quality. So export test for the most part is a big failure. However, having said that, let's have a look at the cons of this program. Obviously, I'll switch right back to this one. The big issue is that this glitching. For some reason it's happening. It's not just glitching the game. Like the models, that's very weird that it's glitching the models, but it's also glitching the actual video where you get this kind of stuff like black bars, black stairs. During the recording, the game slows down at certain points, / it's lagging, no matter what settings you use. So to some conclusion, this is probably something related to the drivers. So if there was an update available, possibly it would be the best solution. One more thing, when recording in the game, if you open up the overlay and you leave your mouse at any place inside the game screen, if you don't move it manually to the right side, your mouse stays glitched on the screen and you can see it while playing and recording. Instant replays are not instant replays like you would expect them to be when you watch a sports game, for example. The replay is not shown to you. Instead, what this should be called is create a highlight clip, going from the point and then 15 seconds back. Somewhat issue with the instant replay is, if you turn it on, it's going to start recording from the point that it's turned on and it's just going to keep recording as long as you have the game opened. So if you're not careful, it could potentially swallow your whole disk space. There is no button to stop this unless you turn it off. Now let's have a look at the good sides I ran into. For starters, there's a hotkey pretty much for anything. You can open up this overlay, which seems to have a bunch of useful features right in the game. Turn on or turn something off, everything is accessible right in the game. Now let me show you the settings that I have used for the sample video. When it comes to global, I think it's self-explanatory. Here are the recording settings with 50 megabits per second, 60 FPS. In-game resolution is actually going to be 1080p. Let's set it right now. Audio bitrate with separate microphone track. Audio channel, I'm going to set it to stereo. I want to have controlled environment, I guess, and everything else is off. And the scenery is just the custom one with only the indicator in the upper left corner, and that's it. Let me show you the media information for both of these files. Here's the video file first. So we can see that the file size is about 50 megabytes for about 30 seconds. If I scroll down, we can see that the bitrate is in fact 13 megabits per second. I actually did check with other recordings as well. It would vary. Sometimes it would be 40, I guess, depending on how much action is going on. So it seems to be adjusting it seems that the frame rate mode is variable. So we can see that the size of the image, and if I put it down, we can actually see that the maximum bitrate is about 256. It's actually 247, but that's about it. And let's check out the audio files media information really quickly. Once again, we can see that the bitrate is pretty similar to the last one. I'm recording a sample video. I'm recording sample video. I'm going to try to give you exactly 30 seconds. Let's actually go visit our good guy merchant, and I'm going to talk a little bit. I'll also adjust the microphone audio a little bit. So I'm going to turn it up now, and I'll turn it down a little bit, and then I'll turn it back up again, so you can exactly get the idea of how all that looks like or sounds like. But the game is pretty slowed down for me as well. Very slow. And that's it. One thing to note, in the sample video I didn't want to trim any audio whatsoever from the microphone track. I just left it as it is so you can get the exact representation of what you get. And because I am able to have two audio tracks separately, I can adjust the volume for each one of them. You can also use that as an example of what you can do if you have your microphone in a separate audio track. Final summary and the review. Obviously, I want to apologize for maybe me rushing through the video and not exactly focusing on details, but I think with the major drawback of lagging the game so much, but not just lagging the game, the output video being highly glitched, the models in the video being glitched, which for the love of me I don't know how that happened, easily make this program unusable for me. I have showed you that a bunch of other people experience the same issue, which is easily solved by usually just upgrading the software. Pressing the system, we can see that the current one that I'm using is 19.4 actually. In here somebody says with latest version of Radeon 17.3, my issue seems to be resolved. So if the issue was fixed, why is it happening now? There were also a couple of more issues with the mouse, and the instant replay is not exactly instant replay, it's just capture a highlight. There are a couple of tiny irregularities that could be easily fixed, and there's a major issue at hand with the lagging of the game and the video output. Keep that in mind, but let's just put that aside to continue with the summary. Overall, the features that it displays, not just recording but also streaming, obviously I didn't check them out, but it's there. But when it comes to recording, bunch of stuff is present, bunch of options, customization, and first and foremost, recording a separate microphone track is a great feature. There is no watermark or some crazy pop-ups or nothing like that. So you need to fill in two criterias. If you have AMD's graphics card and if you are not experiencing these issues, without a doubt this is a great program to use every day to record games, and honestly if I didn't have these issues I would probably use it. It's already built into my software, to my graphics card if you will. It should utilize it very good, and if it were I would use it 100%. However, once again, let's go back to reality. The issue is simply that I'm experiencing these major problems of lagging, graphical issues, distortions inside a video recording. The image quality looked phenomenal, the audio was great. Yeah, the audio track of the microphone was a little longer, but that's just fine. I can just trim it, no big deal. However, once again, the lagging is there, and that cannot be overlooked. There were some recommendations to reinstall Windows on this community forum, but I'm not willing to reinstall my whole operating system, reinstall every single program just to have a little chance to get this one to work. I have other ones that work better. If you can use it, do know that I am envious of you, because with the features it has, basics, it's free, no watermarks, and if you don't have lag, it's gonna satisfy you 100%. But what grade am I going to give this program in my review video? Well, I'm not going to tell you. Cringe. For that particular information, check the link in the description. There's a spreadsheet which you can open up and have a bunch of the information revealed to you. Like for example, when did I start recording, some notes, links, some postscriptum, etc. In the next video, the second part of this mini-series, I'll be taking a look at AMD's Adrenalin version that seems to be redesigned. Now let's find out if it's only the UI that's been redesigned, or in fact if it's the whole program with different features, maybe no lagging issues, etc. Thank you guys so much for watching this review. So you can click somewhere on the screen right now to watch that video, or just check out my channel. And that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I'll see you in the second part. Priest, signing out.
Yeah, I feel so old. Can't waste no time, gotta wait in line and the weather's so cold. Should've brought my coat at the end of the line, on my shit untold. Messed up a lot, used to be waiting for something or someone to give me my spot. God only show you the way, it's all up to the plan and the paper and people you brought. I learned what I taught, I hope that they notice and give us a shot. I swear